Welcome to Visual Testaments Broadcast with Tim and Dawna Avery. Broadcasting from Spartanburg, South Carolina, we're here to bring you encouragement and point the fatherless to the Father and bring hope to the hopeless. This is the Visual Testaments Broadcast.
Welcome to Visual Testaments. We are Tim and Dawna Avery. We're so excited you guys are joining us today. We have a special treat.
We do have a special treat. Today we get to broadcast live with our daughter, Sophia Self-sabotage. So you're going to get to hear amazing updates from her. So I'll turn it over to you guys.
Awesome. And I'm so glad that you're here, Sophia.
Hi, thanks for having me, guys.
We're so glad that you're here. I know that we have an amazing message. We were just talking just a little bit ago, just talking about this message and how powerful this is going to be for our listening audience, because we're talking about self-sabotage.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of an interesting topic. That's one of those topics where we almost know what's going on inside of us. You know, we kind of know the battle. We kind of know the struggle. It's a difficult topic because we probably all have in some part of our life self-sabotage something in our lives, you know? Mm-hmm. So that could be like weight loss. That can be our own job opportunities. That can be just life decisions in and of themselves. So you want to talk a little bit more about what self-sabotage can look like?
Yeah, I think a lot of times, and kind of what I was telling you before, is people think that sabotaging your life is this big decisions that you make. And it's actually these little, small, consistent decisions that you're not making or that you are making that are not helping you get to that goal that you're wanting. Okay. Like daily decisions, a mindset or a behavior that is not serving you well. I got you.
So you're saying like mindset and behavior. So I know we're kind of talking a little bit about like weight loss, that's a simple example of like weight loss. So, so I know some people want to lose weight, especially, because we'll have New Year's resolutions coming up soon. Yeah. And, sometimes, they fizzle out after a couple of weeks, you know, and so self-sabotaging, what would that look like on like a New Year's resolution type self-sabotage?
It looks like one, I'm going to start with like the limiting belief, because I think that's where it mainly starts. Is you have to go ahead and decide, am I worth succeeding? Do I have it within me to succeed? Or am I already shooting myself in the foot before I even try and saying that, yeah, I want to lose 50 pounds. Okay, well, losing 50 pounds starts when your alarm goes off at 5 a.m. in the morning choosing to get up day in and day out, even when it's not convenient. And a lot of times people with these New Year's resolutions will go ahead and sabotage by giving up because they think it's not attainable, or they think that they're not worth continuing to make that decision day in and day out. And so a lot of people think it's this big thing that creates sabotage, but no, it's those little things.
It's the little decisions
and little beliefs and that are actually just sabotaging your life.
It seems like you just take like simple steps in the right directions every day, making sure that those little choices and decisions, like, hey, you know what? I'm not going to have a cookie today because I have an ultimate goal of losing 50 pounds in a set amount of time. And I know that if I do that, make that one poor decision, it can start snowballing into poor decisions down the road. It's like, well, I ate that cookie yesterday, might as well have a cake today, and it's, Thanksgiving dinner or whatever looks good today, so those little things is what we're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. And like a lot of people, just because we're in the vein of weight loss, they'll say, I've done so good. Let me have this cookie.
Want that reward.
It's a reward. When in all actuality, what if we started to view it as, I've been doing so good. Why rob myself of what I truly want, which is to lose that 50 pounds. I truly don't want the cookie. I truly want to get that 50 pounds off.
You want that more.
So why would I, that's a small way of sabotage. And I understand that can hit the hearts of some people because you want that cookie. Yeah. But no, you're worth putting in that extra work to say no to that cookie and yes to that fruit so that you can have what you truly want.
Yeah. You want that delayed gratification of something bigger picture down the road.
Right.
That's awesome. Yeah. So I know that fear has a lot to do with self-sabotage, right?
Yes.
I know that we've talked a little bit about that. So you want to kind of help open that up a little bit, what fear looks like?
Yeah. So pain and fear, both, I would say, are the driving things to sabotage. For instance, you can say, in your relationships or friendships, at the core of your being, everyone wants a really good relationship and they want to have healthy relationships. But a lot of times there's a fear or some past pain that's in play that keep you from really allowing yourself to be in that relationship or that friendship uninhibited without fear or pain.
I gotcha.
I think that the role that fear plays is, wow, things are going really good. I know the last time that things went really good, I got hurt. And
Gotcha.
I'm afraid of getting hurt. And so usually there's a pure intent on the other side of that sabotage.
Okay.
Nobody sabotages because they like sabotaging.
Come on, yeah.
A lot of times they have this intent, and the intent is, I want to feel loved and I want security in my relationships.
Gotcha.
But how we go about it, by making an argument or making something happen or just letting that connection diminish, is what actually ends up sabotaging those relationships.
Wow.
Only because we're afraid, but at the core of our being, we want connection.
Yeah, we do.
But for fear and pain literally keep us from having those things that we want.
Wow.
And so you don't really recognize that that's like, wow, it's a big monumental thing that's going to keep me. But once you identify small ways that you're just sabotaging your life, and especially for me personally, it is in the area of relationship. And I'm just thinking like, what's wrong with me, or what's wrong with that person? And it always goes back to my intent. Sophia, your intent is not to just completely ruin all of your relationships.
Right.
Your intent is to be loved and to have security in relationships. Okay, so if one, I identified in my life as, I don't believe I'm worthy of having good key people that are secure relationships, healthy relationships, people in my life. And until I address that belief, or until I address that I am worthy of having those relationships, I will continue on this cycle again and again and again. So I really believe like fear and pain for sure, because you're afraid of getting hurt in a relationship because you still have that past pain that you haven't dealt with.
Wow.
But when you come to that resolution of, I am worthy of having a healthy relationship, and you know what, people are human and they're not like, your expectations might be over the roof on them, but you are worth having everything that you want if you're willing to set aside pain and fear and addressing those small little habits that happen day in and day out that you don't address. I hear all the time, people don't really think about what they're thinking about. Why aren't we asking why to ourselves a lot more? Why is it okay that I'm allowed to think about myself this way? Why is it okay that I put off today what I ultimately want? I think just asking that same question of why.
Wow, this is such a good conversation. I know we're tackling a lot right now, and I know it's hitting the hearts of the listeners here, but we're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back.
We invite you to the YouTube channel for Visual Testaments. Visit visualtestaments.com, click on the top tab that says YouTube, and make sure you click subscribe and get our notifications. Tim and Dawna Averys invite you to join in on our various playlists. We have 3 to choose from. There's Hope, which will offer great inspiration, Bible teaching, and awesome motivation. Healing, which brings nutrition, inner healing, freedom tips from those addictions that have been troubling you, and Home, DIY gardening and decor tips that you're just going to absolutely love. So click on our YouTube channel today and make sure you subscribe. You can visit our website at visualtestaments.com and be a part.
All right, welcome back. We've been tackling some tough conversation here about self-sabotage, and we've got our beautiful daughter here today, Sophia, and she's just helping us break this down of what is those contributing factors to self-sabotage. And we were just talking about fear and pain and how those things just kind of work together in the negative way to where it causes us to make poor decisions, causes us to think on bad things in ourselves to where we're not allowing friendships to happen. We're not allowing us to succeed in the goals that we're trying to succeed in. Right. So I know that this is a great conversation and it's been awesome. So let's talk about some of those steps that we can make in the positive, because you talked about pain and fear, right? But have you had like your own personal experience about having to deal with self-sabotage that maybe we can kind of relate to? Definitely.
Just in my own life of just being afraid to allow myself to have these healthy relationships, finding my identity and being a quote unquote introvert, and not using that as a shoddy excuse to like not confront my fear, make that connection with people and become unaware of myself. I've been talking with some friends of like, if you ever notice a child, they are so unaware and they will let you know about yourself. They will say your hairline is receding. You have a breakout the size of Texas. Like they're just so filter. Unaware. So unaware. And I think in today's culture is we become so aware. I mean, you got the Enneagram, you got Myers-Briggs, you got so many ways to become so aware. And I feel like the Lord just says, become less aware of yourself. I think, and I don't think it's any coincidence that, depression and anxiety are up, and also self-awareness is up as well. Yeah. And I know that's a heavy topic to get into, but I think it is about you in some sense, but in so many ways it's not.
Right.
And so I think that me getting outside of that self-awareness of what will people think of me, if I get into this relationship and it fails, they're going to think that I am a horrible human being. So villainizing myself in the eyes of other people before I even try and do something.
Wow.
And ultimately, what I really want is to have connection and to have a healthy relationship. But that limiting belief that I'm not worth it and that people will hate me before I even try, it's a way of self-sabotage that keeps me from ultimately having what I want.
Gotcha. So what would you say would kind of help us get past that whole self-sabotage or nip it in the bud before it even starts to begin? Or what have you tried to put into place to kind of help limit that or get rid of it altogether? Because I know that's like a mindset almost of what it's sounding like. We kind of put ourselves in a mindset of like, well, I'm not worth it, so let's not try. Or you have that, like you said, you have that inner dialogue going on in your minds like, well, they're going to think that I'm this, and that, so I might as well not try to enter into a relationship, right? Is what you're saying. So how do we limit that type of dialogue, or how do we program our mind, if you want to say it that way, to where we don't do the self-sabotage?
I think that identifying the way that you speak to yourself, take inventory of your thought process. Okay. And is it good? Is it producing things that are ultimately going to drive you to what you want? And if they're not, then let's change those. Wow, that's good. Yeah, identify. I think that this is most important before even making goals. Okay. And the only reason I say that is it goes back to our goal of 50 pounds. Yeah. I can make a goal to lose 50 pounds, but unless I'm recognizing ways that potentially I'm going to self-sabotage from here to those 50 pounds, I'm not going to ever lose that 50 pounds. Right. So in the reality of things, where is my thought process? Do I believe that I'm worth doing that? Do I believe that I'm worth losing 50 pounds? And do I believe that I'm worth putting in the work to do that? Or am I still so comfortable with not addressing fear or pain to where I don't want to go after those things? Right. So I do think that identifying ways that you self-sabotage.
Just listening to that inner voice and it's like, what's my thought process? What is that? Is it negative or is it positive toward what I want to accomplish?
Right. Because if you don't address that and you don't identify it, you will never actually reach that goal.
I love this conversation. It's so good. But we are just about out of time. We can actually maybe wrap this up right now, but also we may want to have you come back and just share a little bit more about just self-sabotage, because it's so good to pick your brain. You're at that millennial age group. That group is always thinking about the next great things, but also how you guys are processing different things, and your point of view is always fresh. It's good to have you on. I'm so glad you're able to share a little bit. I appreciate that. You want to give them a challenge about self-sabotage?
Yeah, so I just challenge you guys with the new year coming up. Before you make your goals, make out a list of everyday ways that you sabotage. Some of those ways can be allowing yourself to wake up too late in the morning so you rush to work and you don't give yourself enough time. Not eating breakfast, not working out, not spending time with your spouse or your significant other, creating arguments with your significant other or your spouse because you truly just want connection, but you don't know how to just say that. Right. Just identifying little ways that you are self-sabotaging, address it, realize, hey, I'm worth addressing this. I want connection. I want to lose that weight. I want to get that job. Yeah, just go after it.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to the Visual Testaments broadcast.
Yes, we would love to be able to hear from your challenges too. Make sure you email us at visualtestaments.com. You can click on the tab there and share your challenge.
All right, guys. Well, bye for now and catch us later.